This week on the 414, it's about influencer fraud, how it takes form, how to spot it, and how to prevent it. Hi, I'm James Rostance, and welcome to the 414. Each week with some of the greatest minds in marketing. And joining me today is a man who's a key figure in the fight against influencer fraud for both the benefit of the industry and clients alike. Welcome, Jordan Bourse.
Hi, James.
So Jordan, influencer fraud is a hotly debated topic right now, but could you start please by explaining exactly what it is and also how it takes place?
So essentially, influencer fraud is fake social media activity. Years ago, when a fledgling influencer wanted to strengthen their social media presence, they could speak to third parties and buy fake followers or inactive fans. Now even the average social media user can detect this. So I'd say that the current trend in influencer fraud is more so than fake followers, it is authentic likes and comments. So now influencers can pay for social media bots to like, comment, retweet and share. The effect on the influencer essentially is that they seemingly have a more robust and more engaged audience, therefore they get more sponsored deals. However, what that means for the brand is that they pay for an audience that is not engaged and that does not exist.
So when it comes to prevention then, what exactly can be done to prevent it?
So I would ask myself 4 key questions. The first question would be, who is following this influencer? Does the audience have the same age, the same interests? Are there a lot of private accounts? Bots tend to be private accounts. The second question I would ask myself would be, are they transparent about their audience? If you buy a 15% engagement rate for a specific audience, then that's what you should get. The third question I would ask myself is, what does their branded content look like? If their branded content gets way more engagement than their normal content, the likelihood of them buying likes around this is quite big. And then the fourth question I would ask myself would be, what are the calls to action? If the call to action is, for example, what's your favorite beauty hack? That's something a bot cannot answer, and then you would get authentic responses and engagement.
So could you tell me about your own personal approach to fraud prevention? And to what extent do you use technology to help with that?
So aside from asking myself those 4 key questions, I also rely heavily on a piece of proprietary technology that we have called Society. Essentially, when an influencer wants to be a member of a network, when they apply, they give us access to all their backend data. And what that means is that we can review their demographics, we can review how their followers count has grown over time, we can review the engagement around all their posts. For example, when you post something, generally your engagement grows massively right at the beginning and decreases exponentially over time. So we would review that. And whilst you can do this manually, I think it's the capability to do this at scale that really delivers robust findings.
And finally, what do you see as being the future in influencer fraud prevention?
So I think the future is not so much about finding the right influencer or a good influencer, but it's more around the strategic approach to working with influencers. So we've identified 3 trends. The first one would be around virtual influencers. We see more and more brands creating their own influencer, and you can imagine how this combats influencer fraud. The second one would be around, and that's something we've started doing as well, managing and nurturing rising stars and helping them grow their profiles organically. And the third one would be having longer term partnerships with ambassadors, influencers acting as ambassadors. So I think it's more the approach that really matters, and that's what makes it such an exciting industry to be part of.
Jordan, thank you ever so much for joining me today.
Thanks for having me.
And if you would like to learn more about influencer fraud prevention, then visit the414.net to watch extended content in the 414 Extra. I'm James Rostance, thank you for watching.